The sun is setting for the west, time is rapidly running out for us all, and we are well and truly on our own. Over the past month and a half, Eva has converted 3 of the 6 rough base camps into functional base camps, complete with well-rounded logistical stores. He hopes to get one more up and running before the snow comes. Maybe 2 if the weather cooperates, but this is unlikely since it hasn't all summer. From here on out, Eva has 2 main tasks to throw himself into. 1. Scouting until the scouting is completed or until his legs snap off, and 2. Getting back to basics with honing his survival and CamCon skills. Today, Eva is on an 8-mile hike to prove his direct-action rucksack's performance when worn with his East German survival vest. It's important for the rural evader to sort out as many kit issues as one can before the kit is actually needed. Today is as good a day as any to get busy knowing how these 2 pieces of kit will work together. I think it bears mentioning that Eva's internal kit contents never changes. It's only what it rides in that ever changes. He used PLCE kit for many years. However, as he ages, he doesn't feel the need to be buried in bulky kit anymore. However, today's hike isn't just about kit familiarizations. No, it's a further continuation of Eva's total utilization concept. Eva has fasted for roughly 72 hours before this hike. So that's 3 days without a bite to eat and crossing 8 miles of foothills with a 3-day loaded rucksack. Eva has been fasting for years, often mixing it with drills and training scenarios. Hunger is good discipline and will teach the rural evader a lot about themselves. However, it's not something he has advertised or even mentioned until now. Today's Hunger Games is nothing new for our rural evader. Sometimes it's harder and sometimes it's easier depending on the task. The main factor that is always the same is learning about one's self. What curveballs and burdens one will contend with will always depend upon the task and planning set forth by the evader. On the grand scale of these Hunger Games, this is one of the easier contests. For the good or the bad that comes from it, the evader will learn a great deal about themselves. Here are the top 3 and the most pronounced symptoms Eva experiences from the Hunger Games. There's plenty to choose from, but these are his top 3. It's important to understand that individual results will vary from person to person and from task to task. Number 1. Crushing fatigue and lethargy. Number 2. A louder than normal ringing in the ear and a pronounced distortion or exaggeration of sounds. Number 3. Nausea, dizziness, and varied degrees of hunger pains. Though our evader wanted to mention just the top 3 that he experiences, I thought it was worth mentioning that the Hunger Games, or fasting as most would call it, can cause a host of negative reactions to the digestive tract resulting in diarrhea, acid reflux, and vomiting bile. In some serious cases, starting or ending, fasting can kill. And with that statement, I'd like to say that this is an adult channel with adult content. It's up to you to figure out your own shit regarding the Hunger Games for yourself. This is not a recommendation of any sort. I am not a medical professional, nor am I a dietitian, so if you try this and get fucked up, it's on you. Now with that out of the way, I'd like to tell you about some of the benefits our evader has experienced in the field during the Hunger Games. First and foremost, our evader has noticed a distinct decrease of his normal aches and pains. Eva is getting older, and he has acquired many injuries over the years. What's more is that wear and tear has taken a toll as well. Varied levels of pain are a constant companion. However, the majority of these burdens seem to retreat into the back of his mind where the Hunger Games are concerned. Whether this is a natural defense or gained through conditioning, we shall never know. So there is that. As always, the viewers only get a glimpse into what the evader is up to. In a future video, Eva will go over the sleeping games. This is when you combine the Hunger Games with sleep deprivation and all the terror that goes along with it. At some level, hunger will be a constant companion when the hammer drops. For some it will be total starvation, while others will experience this from rationing and from the simple change of eating habits, post-hammer dropping. The point here was to get the viewer thinking. Now that all that is out of the way, let's join Eva in his sorcerer's chambers and go over this direct-action rucksack in Flecktarn camouflage pattern and its contents.
Alright, so this is a direct-action Flecktarn Dragon Egg Mark II rucksack. I've had this thing for about, I guess, going on a year. And when I first got it, I was absolutely positively 100% dissatisfied with it. Direct Action claims this thing is 25 liters. I don't buy it because if I take my Helicontex Rhodesian Camo Bergen and I take the complete contents and I put it inside this rucksack, it fills it up absolutely completely, and that's without the outside pouches. So there's no way this thing is 25 liters. The Helicontex one is 18 liters, 18, 25. I mean, this should be able to hold a whole lot more, and it just doesn't work out that way. I mean, and the problem with this is that when you load things in here, it presses into this cell, or if you load things in here, it presses into that cell, and it eats up all your room. And then it's like, you know, how am I supposed to fit 25 plus liters worth of kit in this thing? You can't. I don't know how they measure it. I don't know what metric they use, but it's not 25 plus liters. So anyway, let's get into what I got in this, because that's what's really important. Okay, so in here, I keep all my food items. And here's first aid kit, poncho, raincoat, and some miscellaneous items. Start with this side. First aid kit. Poncho. Directly on the other side. Raincoat. This is the new pouch that I got from Germany, made by Centurion. All I have in it is a handful of these, two of these, S-bit, canteen cup, coffee, some other accessories, S-bit cooker with a cup, and my original spoon and fork combo. This is a sunglass pouch that I just actually never use. I could probably put my wallet in there, but I don't. This is the furthest outside pouch. The furthest outside pouch in its original configuration for my cell phone. I'm not going to pull this all out. I got two of these. These are the East German bottles. These things are so slender and super handy. I got some batteries in here. This is the only tool that I brought back from my shelter constructions. I left all my other ones out in the wilds. I'll go get them later. Dry bag for something. Really isn't anything else of importance in here that would make a difference. Spare camera. 3 AK mags, steel, loaded. This has got in it a couple wool neck toques, a wool sweater, a wool wash cap, wool gloves, an extra t-shirt, and an underwear type long sleeve wool shirt. And this has got my Flectarn Helicon swag roll, whatever you want to call it, their version of a poncho liner. Looks like this. Used it a few times, but never filmed it. This rucksack, would I recommend this rucksack after roughly a year's use? For a survivalist, no. So I quite like how I have what I would call shelves They kind of go around in here because this is pretty good for mounting a werewolf suit or Zelpon on the outside. It's going all the way around it if I needed to. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it. There has been a werewolf suit attached to this, but not as you see it now. It was during the very early testing stages of it. And about that time, I realized that I was not liking this rucksack at all. Now, they also have this pocket here, which it doesn't do me any good. It just takes up space. If I had my way, or if I could, I would just rip it off of here. But it's attached to the main body, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I have to live with it. I guess they assume everybody's going to have a laptop with them. I don't really see the need for that. And the inside here is full of all kinds of stupid pockets. But, you know, like I said, I've had this for going on a year. If I had known what I had known, I wouldn't have bought it. But I did. And I didn't want to give up on it, so I took some of the flex iron pouches that I already had, and I lined the outside, but it still wasn't quite enough. So I went ahead and I bought this one, and it's doing good. So with the outside pouches, I mean, I pretty much almost not quite double the capacity of it, and it rides fine. I've heard some really weird comments about it looking uncomfortable or whatever, or looking too big, but it rides fine. I mean, if you don't load it like a fucking tit, it's a 3-day rucksack. Treat it as such. You know, it's a Scout rucksack. Treat it as such.